From the center of the galaxy, this is ForceCenter, a show about Star Wars pop culture. Is it? Where am I? And the ultimate adventure, life itself. I have no idea why I hesitated. I'm Ken Knapsack.
I'm Jen Landa.
I'm Joseph Scrimshaw.
I think I've heard of you.
Yeah.
And this is Star Wars Ranked. I know where I am. This is Star Wars Ranked. This is a show where we rank things in Star Wars. Pretty simple. We've been having fun doing this kind of looser, on the fly, playing a deck of cards game of Star Wars Ranked where there's no winners. We're all winners here. And today we are going to dive in. I'm not going to say by demand, by any stretch of the imagination. But this is by conversation in our ForceCenter Discord and some reactions to our previous episodes. And, you know, I'll blame it on Molly Damon. This is our favorite Star Wars armors, our favorite armor in Star Wars. This was inspired by, and we'll talk about it here in a second, but was inspired by, we did our outfits. We're still got some outfits to rank. Darth Vader was our number one in the original trilogy era. Jen, you and I.
Yep.
Joseph was off making a film, and Molly Damon said, "I'd like to challenge that. It's armor. It's not an outfit." And I don't think she's wrong.
Yeah, no.
So
She's right. She's right. Yeah.
She's right.
Yeah.
But if you wear it every day, isn't it your outfit?
I wear a black T-shirt, black jeans. I know, Joseph, you do as well. That's an outfit. That's an emotional armor, but it's an outfit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's so. Cartoon characters, is that Fred Flintstone's armor? He wears it every day. The same thing.
Homer Simpson, got it. You made a great point there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I do understand because outfit suggests. I got up today and this is what I decided to put on.
Yeah.
And I don't think Vader has any other options. I don't think he has like formal armor for parades or anything like that.
With like kind of a white stripe down the middle with a little bow tie. Palpatine's
That's when we know the storytelling between Palpatine and Vader will have gone too far. Like Palpatine's like, I must get him back under my heel. He's too proud. I'll put him in the parade armor today. I'll make him wear it.
You just pitched the next Marvel Darth Vader run. 35 issues of Palpatine.
Shame
and Vader
of the
fighting.
parade armor. Darth Vader. Shame of the parade armor.
Parade armor, indeed. We are going to get to this ranking shortly. I do want to remind you, as always, today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/ForceCenter. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, your Android, your Kindle, your MP3 player, your AI radio bot, whatever you got going on. I don't know. Wherever it plays, you can get it. We're recommending Crimson Climb by E.K. Johnston, book about Kira. Speaking of great outfits, that's a character I think we'll be visiting when we do some other outfit ranks. Download your free audiobook today by going to audibletrial.com/ForceCenter. Help out the show. Go to audibletrial.com/ForceCenter for free audio book. All right. I'm in a weird mood. Let's get to it. We are first going to do this. We're going to rank 10 to 1. We're going to alternate. It's like a snake draft almost. But we are going to do what we occasionally have done here at Star Wars Ranked in the past. We are inducting something, someone, an outfit, an armor into the Hall of Fame. So that way, one, it's just so the answer. It's so part of it. We rather discuss other things, but also because it is the maybe best example, we want to acknowledge that. And that is Darth Vader. He is going into the Star Wars Ranked, our favorite armor in Star Wars Hall of Fame. There you go. Molly's happy. Jen, are you happy?
I'm happy because that was going to be my number one pick.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
You can't top it. You just can't top it. It's so iconic. So, Gold Star, Vader, Gold Star.
Gold Star. I was once sitting in church in the 80s, and the pastor put an image up on the screen of Darth Vader, except for it wasn't Darth Vader, but it was the silhouette of the armor, and he said, evil is everywhere, and we're worshiping the evil in pop culture. And I went, yes, Vader, it's so cool. So, Joseph, that's why it's a Hall of Fame choice for me.
Oh, that is a great reason. Man, when I picture Vader's armor, I know I talk about it all the time. I picture that publicity image from the original film where the lightsaber is painted on. It's Vader full body. The lightsaber is painted in and comes to a sharp point. In the backdrop is just like this kind of a blue and gray photo backdrop like every family had at Sears. And it just like, it's so 70s. It looks like Sears' portrait. But there's a slight upward angle and it's just the full body. So you can just see how cool the armor is. the cape, the helmet, how it all flows together, the control box to call your mom when it's time to go home. All of it. All of it. It's yeah. It's iconic for a reason.
Yep. It is why anytime I go take that turn down the toy aisle and I see a Vader in some form, there's always a 10% chance I'm going to get it. Even though I'm staring at my 1994 Star Wars Bendham Vader that's on the literally behind this camera. From that one to the Black Series to the Vintage, I can't say no sometimes.
Yeah, me too. I got my rotating 2 action figures that sit on my desk that I try to change every couple of months. And right now I have a Vampira action figure and a Darth Vader that I couldn't resist buying in Minneapolis. It's the New Hope, the Vintage collection with the New Hope card. It's the New Hope Vader with the cloth over the armor with the slightly reddish eyes. And happens to be the way this one's packaged. His head is kind of cocked, so it's just like he's sensing Obi-Wan right there in the package. And I couldn't say no to that.
That's beautiful. It's beautiful. Jen, how many Vaders do you own?
I don't think that many. Now that I think about it, I think I only have like 1 or 2 Vader action figures. Yeah.
Oh man, we gotta correct that. There's a P.O. box listed down below. Send Jen 32 Darth Vader action figures right now.
Got sweatshirts and sweaters and T-shirts, though. I have a lot of that.
That works. Got a Vader coffee mug. Sorry. Okay, nope. Sorry. I thought we had an earthquake live on camera. Nope, that was just construction industry. Sorry. Live to tape. Natural disasters and all. All right. 10-1. Our favorite armor in Star Wars. Joseph, we're going to begin with your number 10 nominee in choice.
Oh man, this is difficult. We were talking off air that a lot of our choices are going to be the baddies. What are you going to do? A lot of them are going to be the baddies. So in order to offset that, I'm going to start with somebody who I think is mostly a goodie. We've seen this kind of character do some bad things. It's one I don't have an action figure of and desperately want an action figure of. My number 10 for coolest armor in Star Wars is going to be the Jedi Temple Guard.
Yes, I knew I didn't have to nominate. I knew you'd get. I'm so happy you got there. I'm so happy you got there.
It's a great design. It's not as straightforward as the Jedi armor in the Clone Wars evokes the Stormtroopers, which is cool. But there is still something about an institution that is open and flowing like the Jedi, having a guard face is covered that is a little nameless, faceless. Obviously some of it is the double-bladed yellow lightsaber. Just the whole design, it's got that great sort of Star Wars sort of triangular shape with the hood and then the sharp not shoulder pads, but that really sharp triangular armor at the top of their chest that gives it a great arc. It's such a great mix of the armor with the robe in the flowing, and then the mask itself, which is of course part of the armor, different kinds, different styles. But man, I'm looking at the pictures of it now. That full mask with just the little eye slits looks so ornate with the white and the gold, and then just sort of the downward sloping energy of it is both menacing and calm somehow. Like, look, they're going to be really scary if you piss them off. So just don't. Don't piss off the Jedi Temple guards.
I'm so glad. Again, I had faith that you'd probably get there, but I'm glad you said them because brought them up. I think they're great design. They're medieval. They remind me of Knights Templar lore and mythology and how that relates to this ancient order that's protecting themselves and maybe protecting knowledge. Of course, you think of the Grand Inquisitor, Jedi Temple Guard, who was so close to the knowledge of the Jedi but wasn't allowed to get to it. All those kind of things, you can dive into it. But just in terms of a fun Star Wars-y design, and I love your point that it is, for the most part, on the good team. The bad guys have cooler toys. Get it? I'm part of that too. I collect Cobra more than G.I. Joe. Got it. But these are really cool. Really cool. Yeah. Jen, any emotion? Oh, sorry, sir.
No. I was going to ask Jen how she felt about the Jedi Temple Guard.
Please.
That's a great pull. I forgot about that. But I also forgot that there is a mask in Andor in Luthen Rail's antique shop or whatever.
Yep.
I'll have to go back and try and find that, but that's fun.
A lot of
Yeah,
fun Easter eggs.
they are a little scary looking. I mean, even though they're
Yeah.
technically on the good side, but there is certainly a menacing quality.
Would it have helped, Jed, if they had just put a smile into the
No,
mask? Okay, good.
because then they would look like that. What was that movie? You know, that famous The Mask with Natalie Portman. What is that one?
Oh, V for Vendetta.
V for
Yeah,
Vendetta.
yeah.
And
Guy
they look
Fawkes
like
mask.
that.
Yeah.
Guy Fawkes.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Exactly. Then they would look like that. So it's just as evil and menacing.
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking of Burton's Batman. Love that Joker. Great.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's a great way to start this list. I should say I failed up top to say this list. We might have general classes like Jedi Temple Guard. We might have specific characters in their armor. We're going to go anywhere today. We know that could be divided up into more episodes, but today it's everything there. So, Jen, you're free to go wherever your heart tells you. What is your choice here for our number 9 selection?
I have number 9, the Emperor's Royal Guard.
Yes.
I have always loved this armor design. I just was so striking as a child. I was so fascinated by them that they never spoke. But just like the red, this like blood red color of their helmet and this like drapery on their robes, they just kind of were the embodiment of evil and strength, but also elegance, which I think fits well with Palpatine / Darth Sidious.
Yeah.
And fun fact, apparently the Royal Guards were supposed to meet the basic height requirement of 6 feet tall. I did not know that.
I'm out.
Thanks to that was thanks to Wikipedia.
If I do a little toe lift, I'm in, but I'm out.
Yeah. I could be with a big heel. I could be.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get there.
Oh, yeah, but I just love them. And that they were the precursors, obviously, to the Praetorian Guards, which I love the Praetorian Guard design and that whole fight sequence.
Yeah.
But these baddies were the OGs. So they're number 9 for me.
All right, you're going number 9. You might be okay. I won't tip my cards yet.
Oh.
But I love them. I've got my classic Kenner one over there outside of the package, and I really agree with you, Jen. And yes, the history, the fun stuff of Palpatine and the Naboo kind of Royal Senate Guard and going from blue to red and everything about it. But it's striking. It's memorable. It was immediately pulled me in as a kid of just like, because in a sea of whites and blacks and grays, this crimson red showed up. It just was like you're immediately drawn to them, the mystery of them. Do they talk? What's going on? The cloak. And then, I don't know, as I pitched you, Joseph, on your thoughts on this, if you felt like me when I finally did get the action figure as a kid, and the first thing I did was flip it over and move the cape and realize it's just kind of a jumpsuit under there, at least in terms of Kenner. I was a little almost disappointed if I wanted more. And I know there was more in Legends as characters, but I remember just going, it's sweatpants.
I looked under the Emperor's Royal Guard's cloak a lot. Partially it was, if you were alive then, there was quite a large jump in action figure quality from 1980 to 1983, and obviously in the interim years. But the Return of the Jedi line, they got far more advanced in like adding lots of little wrinkles. And I frankly looked at the ass of my Return of the Jedi action figure backside because they like had all these intricate little wrinkles in the pants that were like, this is mind blowing. Action figure technology have reached this level. Add to that the mystery. I mean, it was like, sometimes like the way that nowadays we get like a novelization or, after an episode of The Bad Batch, StarWars.com puts out this, information what the name of that monster was. Yeah. That was what it felt like to get an action figure that had a cloak. Cause like, I'm going to see what's going on under there. And it didn't feel like armor. It did feel like very detailed jumpsuit, like maybe even like, made out of paper, like maybe read doctor's exam. Yeah. I don't know. But obviously in canon, it's armor and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think they very much deserve to be on this list. They're so cool and made many cool different iterations of Royal Guards from them.
Indeed. Yeah. Jen?
Yeah, did I lead us wrong? Are we doing like best helmets? Like what? Oh no.
No.
No,
No.
We're gonna get ourselves in a pickle again, you guys. I've done it again.
This is why.
you're still wrong.
Whoa, we're like gonna keep zooming in and zooming in.
No.
Best.
Yeah,
Goggles.
yeah. That we
Best
will do.
glove.
We'll probably need to do a best helmets and some more. No, Jen. This is why I love this
boots.
version of Star Wars Ranked. It is on the fly. You have already changed one of my choices because this is a. It's not a game. It's not a game show. There, like I said, there's no winners. There's no losers. We're just sharing our joy of Star Wars. But I do feel as though there's an emotional reaction, and when you're like, well, okay, that's there, but I got to make sure this is there, and it's a check down as a quarterback. You're looking for your other receivers. So Jen, you've done great. It's a great choice. It is the choice at number 9.
Made a bad pass,
No.
you guys. It's all right.
No, you didn't make
No.
it.
Come at me, bros, in the comments. Come at me.
No. Okay. I'm here at number 8, and I am torn between going to our first specific choice or maybe a more general choice. And I honestly don't know where to go with that. Show my math. All right. I'm gonna break the seal on a specific choice. This is a more of a recent addition to the Star Wars story. It represents a bigger class of armor, which still could pop up. There's no reason, nothing cancels out any other choices, but especially because it's specific. But I am going with, if this is our favorite armor in Star Wars, I'm going with the Armorer.
Oh,
Ooh.
okay.
Love the design. Jen doesn't. Jen, motion does not pass.
No, it's great.
right.
Okay. This
All
is
right.
great.
All right.
It stands out to me as inventive, but also something we've seen before and are familiar with. It has pro wrestling vibes. Like I could see her walk into the ring with that, from the horns, just the whole design of who she is, the matriarch of this clan, the mysterious nature of it. It's so. I'm not someone who's gravitated towards Mandalorians in the past. I'm not a Mando Merc. Boba Fett, Jango, any example, Din Djarin. There's some great examples of the armor. The armor's cool. Bo-Katan, name it. The list goes on and on. I've always been there. But this is the first time I went, this is different. I like this character. I like what it says about the character. I like the uniqueness, but still being part of something bigger. I love the way I have to admit, I love the way she just wallops people with the hammer. It's all part of the aesthetic. Might be the pro wrestling of it all. And I've thought long and hard. 5 minutes. The Armorer is my choice. Thoughts against, Jen? Thoughts for?
No, I was looking at it because I love it. I feel like I could have chosen it and I would have put it higher because it's such a cool design. It's such a cool design. And what I specifically love is the fur coat. And I was looking on Wikipedia to be like, well, I'm sure that there's a specific kind of fur, right? No, they don't really say. But that fur coat is just so cool.
It's cool,
Very
man.
1970s vibe, right? Like that. I don't know. But I love it. I love it. Strength. And like you said, she could wall up anybody with her.
Yeah, and much like Joseph, you bring up the Jedi Temple Guard and the double-sided blade being part of it. I mean, the tools of the armor, which are much more than tools, I think are part of the aesthetic for me. So I don't know if I'm off base. I love Emily Swallow's performance. I love her voice choice and the acting in it. Everything about the armor.
Yeah, no, the hammer and the tongs. It's such a great combination. And in that crack in that Stormtrooper armor in that action scene in the first season of Mandalorian is up there. No, I think this is a fabulous choice. For me, this entire list is about how many Mandalorians and Stormtroopers and Stormtrooper clone trooper variants are going to make this list. Mandalorians have to be on this. They are almost in the you could almost just throw Boba Fett in the Hall of Fame for armor. So how many Mandalorians is a good battle? This is a great choice for Mandalorian because it's very unique. It's not just about the armor itself. It's about the meaning of the armor. And her armor is really cool. A couple things I like about her armor. The helmet with the spikes is different. The shape is a little bit reminiscent of, other Mandalorians with Sabine, but with a little bit more of the sort of the owl-like eyes. The whole thing has a little bit more of a Roman vibe, which I think is really cool. and then the gold and the dark crimson red is a great combination, because at this point, so much of the Mandalorian armor is a game of colors.
Yeah.
And having got the opportunity to be very lucky to see the armor up close at Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim,
Right.
I love the detail of it. There's a slight variation in color. There's a slight sparkle, like 1960s drums. Like one color and then like a lighter sparkly version of it, and up close the armor has 1960s drums for her armor. So I much support this choice.
All right, that's it. And you've also created a Bob Dylan song we didn't have with "You Got to Swing Something, the Hammer and the Tongue." You got it. You got to choose. Love it. Thank you for the support on that. It's tough choice. We'll see if my alternate choice got left off as we move forward. I don't know. That's what kind of happens here. We're going to our number 7 selection with Joseph.
Okay, Ken, how does math work? How many total choices do I get?
So we worked it out this time. You get 4. Jen and I get 3. And, maybe eventually we go to 12. I don't, again, the fun part for me, this has been something I've done since I started radio in the 90s. I adapt, I change, I grow my shows and all the things we do on the fly, right? So ranked is something that again, what a concept, ranking things in Star Wars. But I wanted to throw a grenade into the ranked room and do something different. But you got 4 today because Jen and I were so torn between our choices, we only wanted 3.
Okay. Okay, there's one choice that I'm confident somebody else is going to make, so I'm going to let that go. This is terrifying. So I must choose the ones that have to be on here for myself. And this will perhaps be controversial, but we're going to get into we're going to rip the Trooper Band-Aid off.
Okay.
And out of all of them, for myself, the Trooper that I need on this list is Clone Trooper Phase 1. The Clone Troopers is introduced in Attack of the Clones. This is partially, for me, a cheat, because I feel both the original Stormtroopers and Boba Fett should be on there. And what was amazing about Clone Troopers Phase 1 back in the day is it is a combination of the classic Stormtrooper informed by what at the time was, Boba Fett's look, but has since grown into Mandalorian helmet design, obviously, with their armor being inspired by Jango Fett's armor. And then, we get into Phase 2 and they start to round out and get closer to what will be the Stormtroopers, and that armor is really cool too. But Phase 1 Clone Trooper for me is there's something so slick and aerodynamic about it. It's the faceless terror of the just shocking white armor that makes the Stormtroopers really cool, contrasted with the little glimpse of black from their under tubing. You got all that, but they're so sleek and aerodynamic when they have the Mandalorian helmets, a little more Mandalorian inspired helmets that aren't as rounded, but are just the straight energy down with just a little bop at the top. But what really puts them over the top for me is George Lucas spends his life saying, how can I combine science fiction with fast cars? I know. I'll put a classic car fin on the head of this very unique armor. And that fin, the fin in the combination of the visor, the eye, and the mouth being connected, obviously that's pulling from the Mandalorian aesthetic, but it gives them this great, vicious frown with the fin. I mean, they're almost like if, a 1950s car transformed into armor with that fin. And I love it. I think out of all of the clone and Stormtrooper armor, it is probably my personal favorite.
Jen, I'm curious where you go with this. You kind of changed something on the fly for me, Joseph, where I had some maybe more specific clone trooper choices, and maybe they pop up. Not talking about characters, but in terms of armor. But you're taking me back to 2002, where this armor was an answer. This armor was maybe you didn't like that. Maybe you were like, but everything about it, what you're saying of, oh, you took this and that, and then you added a car. Wow, great. Which is a great point, a great part of the design. I'm sure of all the designs that were pitched to George, I want that scene in the dock where someone's like, how about a fin, George? He's like, that's the one. That's the one. That's the one. I really love the simplicity, and I love the detail that emerges on the armor later on in the next phases. A lot of people might have clone commandos and the glowing, and maybe that comes up, not taking the choices off the board. I love the 501st. I love that blue. There's something about it. You might be partial to what's Kenobi's a 212th? 12th? Yeah.
212th. Yeah.
Great stuff. Blah, blah, blah. But there's something about the simplicity of this, Jen, that speaks to me. What about you?
Yes. So you're specifically saying just the ones that are white and black, not with any sort of color markings, or does your pick include the ones with color markings?
I'd be okay including the ones with color markings.
Right.
Okay.
But
They do exist. They do exist, yeah.
The entire
Right.
phase. But yeah, no, I mean, one of my favorite action figures that I have is the one from the 501st with some blue markings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because, yeah, the changes are being made. Changes are being made. Yeah.
Type.
I don't know.
Jennifer, time traveling back to 2002 in the revelation of this armor, were you excited by it? Were you surprised by it? How did you feel?
You don't want to know my answer on that. You don't want to go back to that time. I've grown as a person.
It was a dark. You didn't like the armor.
I have grown since my Attack of the Clones. I will never forget that viewing. Oh, Lord. Forgive me.
Really?
Did you see the armor ahead of time, or was it a surprise to you in the movie? To your
I don't
recollection?
even remember.
Right.
There was laughing. There was.
Wow.
I fell asleep. There was anger. There was like, what is this? Like so many emotions after that.
Laughter,
viewing.
naps, and anger. Wow.
I
Also a
have
Dylan
grown. I have grown as a person, and now I enjoy the film.
Yeah.
Boy,
Yeah,
yeah. So I'm
yeah.
working through it
And
right
but
now
the-
with this
oh, but
choice. I'm working through it.
The armor had a big part of that then.
Yes, a lot of things. There were a lot of things. Armor was one of them.
Wow.
See, because I can't. I think I had already. I got internet at home for the first time in the lead up to Attack of the Clones. So I was checking StarWars.com every day. Like I had all my criticisms of Phantom Menace, and I made all my jokes, and I'd done comedy sketches making fun of it. But I was just like in heaven. I loved the build up to Attack of the Clones, and I loved even I did sketches making fun of Attack of the Clones, and I still loved it. So it was a grand time for me. I took a trip to the UK with my partner and her sister at the time, and there was we were changing buses in Wales, and it was like there's a toy store, and they're both like, uh-oh, and it's like, can I go in for 5 minutes? And like, it's got to be 5 minutes, or we're going to miss our bus. And they had those figures that they released, the 4 preview figures,
Right.
and one of them was this clone trooper. And it is one of the greatest action figure moments in my life of just like, I don't care how much it is. I will pay you all the Welsh dollars. Just give me now. I need it. The Welsh pounds. I can't remember. I think I've probably already seen it in advertising, but to see it in person and go, it's a Stormtrooper and it's Boba Fett. How could this be? It was a beautiful moment.
Yeah. Okay.
That's good.
Jen would have made the bus. She would have caught the bus.
I was working at Miyagi's on the Sunset Strip. And,
Really?
Saddle Ranch. Yeah, I think around that time. So that should give you a little context. And I went to a midnight showing after work.
Ooh,
Again.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Some context.
Yep.
Yeah.
Different time.
Different time.
Wow. I love when we
Yeah.
get Landa reveals. Sunset Strip early 2000s is a reveal that I think most of our audience doesn't fully understand.
I know, right? Now if you go down there, it's like Deadsville. But boy, it was so much fun. It was so much fun.
I was doing comedy down the street and trying to ride that bull at Saddle Ranch too.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't do it.
You could have with some Clone Trooper Phase 1 armor.
Thank you. Getting us back to the mission here. All right. I think that's a great choice. I love it. Number 7, Clone Trooper Phase 1 armor. Jen, it's your chance to fight back here with number 6.
You know, and I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm lost. Okay, how about this?
Mm-hmm.
How about the Mandalorian, Din Djarin Mando? That's my pick. And the reason why is I think, and I almost could put it higher, but I'm going to save my other one. The thing about Mando's armor is it's really sleek and yet rugged. It is really an embodiment of contradictions in some sense, which I think that the character is, right? Like at first you might think that it's a stoic character. Well, he is stoic, embodiment of strength. But when I see that armor now, I feel like empathy. I feel warmth and kindness. And that is from this character that we know and I love. And unlike Boba Fett, which really was just cool armor, for me as a kid, I was just like, oh, is a nothing character. It's just cool armor. For me, Mandalorian is a total opposite. Where from the moment that we are introduced to this character, we get it, and it now is that armor is synonymous with the character's personality. Obviously, Boba Fett has become that as well, but. It's been baked in. Obviously, the weapon of choice, going back to the Star Wars Holiday Special, I love that. And I also think it represents a new Star Wars era. And everyday people now, sometimes they might call him Boba Fett, but they know it's Star Wars. And so I love that. I love that this is the new era of Star Wars.
Great choice, and you're speaking specifically. It sounds like the Din that kind of grows and emerges and evolves. Not the one we meet him in, which I love too. In that first figure, when he hasn't got all the upgrades, and I think it's just valuable. But the kind of the whole journey that ends with where we are with him now is where you're going.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
love it.
Full Beskar.
Yeah.
Right.
Look, this is why it is a great answer because it is a striking image, especially when he fully emerges and just the way it's played and the way Mandalorian armor is, just Grief Karga doing the whole everyone's looking at you, Mando. Like it's so powerful and such great use, and I love the growth and how much we learn about him with the armor and all that stuff as his armor grows. And what you said, Jen, is something I think should not be overlooked. Is now 6 years into this character's existence, he is what a lot of people think of when you say Mandalorian armor. There's other great choices that are, legacy choices, but he is what comes to mind, and that's powerful.
Yeah, no, he has become one of the main symbols of Star Wars. We could maybe just do a Mandalorian armor ranked as well. Maybe only 5 because I'm gonna have to bump a lot of them. But I love that you picked Din. Because in terms of best armor, we can just look at it aesthetic, but like you're saying, it's what does the armor mean? And what is the audience's relationship with the armor? And the fact that we have seen it evolve and have seen him evolve in it and his relationship to it, his relationship to having it made. I think it's fascinating that obviously the color choices for Mandalorian armor is something that is cultural to them. And I love Din's deal of like, no paint. I want it raw for the most part. All he gets is just enough to get another action figure. And I know people make that joke, but I'm going to make that joke on myself because I have so many Din Djarin action figures.
Right.
And every new one that comes out, I'm like, it's one little piece of his armor that changed color and one slightly different accessory. I don't need it. And then for the 3rd season of Mandalorian, they put out the Mines of Mandalore specific, where his armor has evolved now, where it has 2 little blue chunks. And it's like, I need that because he's got a little blue bit now. But I think that speaks to I think it's the blue bit, the Clan of 2 emblem. I think where the armor has evolved now is like its peak. I love the original. He's junky and incomplete, earns the full set. But now as the set grows with him and gets a little blue on it, maybe he'll be head to toe blue in the movie. And I can buy that action figure.
Oh, that'd be good. Go full blue. Go full blue. With full blue. Great choice, Jed. It's a great choice. You feel conflicted again. You shouldn't be. It's a great number.
Okay.
Number 6. All right.
Good.
I'm going to start getting conflicted now because it's me for number 5, which means we're in the top 5, which means I'm looking at some very specific choices, an answer maybe that I probably didn't wake up this morning with it in my head, but then looking at things this morning when I was putting my list together, I was like, I don't know. I think that kind of is a cheat, but belongs there. Then there's the classic one, and then there is pushing it into, as you said, Joseph, the list could just be troopers in Mandalorian armor. That's what I'm playing with. There's an all-time classic I'm definitely considering, but I am going to go to one that I cannot pull away from anytime they show up, anytime they've shown up on the screen since 2016, I just kind of give that nod of like, oh yeah, that's bleeping good stuff. That's criffin' good. It's the Death Troopers. I'm going Death Troopers.
Oh, wow.
Going
Great
Death
choice. Great
Okay.
choice.
And again, we're propping up the baddies here, but and speaking of height requirements, there's some height requirements in the Death Troopers. They are, of course, we first meet them with Krennic, his personal collection of Death Troopers that follow him around. Their blasters sounding a little bit different. The weird communication that only they can decipher. Everything about them. They remind me of they're a little bit of a SWAT team design, if you will, but the tall, sleek, menacing. There's a lot of things on there. I couldn't wait to get that Rogue One visual guide to see what is on their belt. Love it. I actually think about it. Maybe I do have a Black Series. I have to double check. I don't think I've ever got one of the figures, which is weird. Maybe I got a Funko Pop of them, which kind of counts. But I was there's a lot of shore troopers, a lot of examples. I just was immediately in love with the Death Troopers, and I still go back to them when they show up, and they show up. Andor, right? Did Romero has Death Troopers around here? They show up in the animation, and that shows me too that even people internally, when they're like, all right, we need to have the Death Troopers. We should get those cool Death Troopers. Let's put them in there. So much like Rogue One gave us Shore Troopers, which may come up again, who knows? The U-Wing and Death Troopers, brand new designs that felt like they had been there since day one. That's why I love them at number 5.
I cannot fault this choice. There is another trooper who made their premiere in Rogue One that I want to make the list, but I don't know. So the Death Trooper is like, yeah, that is the like, hey, sometimes we like things in Star Wars because they're both cool and a little like wonky and funny. Like, nothing funny about the Death Troopers.
In the name.
They're maybe their communication, but once you know, it's like, okay, we can't, no comedy of like, we think they're on 2 levels. Like, nope, they're all scary, cool sounding state secrets. Those blasters are great. They're great in the Battlefront 2 video game.
Yes.
I do have I played for a while as a Death Trooper in that video game to the point where like, that's what got me to get the action figure. In the action figure, flawlessly cool. There's been many iterations and different versions of Stormtrooper, but black armor and the Death Trooper, that chunkier, sharper armor. They also seem really lean.
Yeah.
Really lean. Like they're all on a keto diet.
Yeah. It's a basketball team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Start 5. Yeah.
Cannot fault that choice.
All right. Jen, can you fault the choice? Sounds like you can.
No, this is a great choice. I forgot about this one that I had on my list. They're just so scary looking. Like I love that Star Wars just went like full scary because death is in their name. It's like, how much more explicit can you get? If I saw these guys in Galaxy's Edge or people, I'd be freaked out. I would not. It's not going to end well, whether you're in universe or in an amusement park. I love it. It's such a cool design.
Have they been in Galaxy's Edge?
No, but I just would like to imagine. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
No,
I have no idea.
So. No.
Yeah, I don't. Well, yeah, no, I don't think so. Era-wise.
No.
Era-wise, it will work.
No.
It just would be, I
like
imagine the pitch to the higher ups. All right, then we're going to add the Death Troopers. You're going to add the what to the park? The what now's coming to Galaxy's Edge?
The Diet Troopers.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Mean Troopers.
They're already scary with Kylo Ren. It's freaking scary to have them come and interrogate you. They always come to me and my husband, and I almost ratted out Chewie accidentally. I was so scared.
I love that.
I think that whole job of being Kylo Ren, the Stormtroopers, is who looks like they might play along and not utterly embarrass us, because there's so many videos of Kylo trying to be tough on somebody and like they can't really follow through on any of your threats. So a child is like,
Yeah.
get out of here, Kylo Ren, you suck. He's like, all right, I'll deal with you later. He's like, what is like?
That's amazing. That's amazing. All right, cool. That's my number 5.
Okay.
We're in the top 5. Joseph, we got your number 4. Where'd you go?
Yeah, this is terrible. This is awful. It's the worst thing that's happened to me all day. There might be some pushback on helmet versus armor here, but I think there's enough armor here to count, and I don't want to leave her off the list.
Okay.
So I'm going with Enfys Nest.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jen.
Yep.
No, I wanted to put her on the list, but I had the same debate with myself.
Well, I'm here in my home looking at Enfys Nest,
Yep.
like
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
And look, the helmet is that cannot be questioned. Is
Yep.
cool Star Wars armor, in my opinion. I guess it can be questioned because it's an opinion. But the point is, what after years and years of Star Wars, uh, to have a helmet design that feels that fresh, that cool silver visor, so thin, so not practical, and then all the energy of the prongs on top and sideways, and it's just such a great design. It looks like something that might have been industrial, that has been made unique and personal. We got the cool fur, confirmed on Wikipedia. The gauntlets that fan out into the shields, those are Beskar, so that's armor.
Oh yeah.
The chest plate, I couldn't find any definition on Wikipedia, and I don't have the Rogue One guide in front of me about exactly what material it's made of. But come on, it's armor in spirit. It's armor is not just made of metal and chemicals and plastic. Armor can be made of bone and organic material, and I love that there is a little bit of the industrial in the gauntlets and in the helmet, but that chest plate looks entirely natural, and I think that's a part of what just a great design. Enfys Nest looks really cool, so well done to kind of play the Boba Fett of like, she's a marauder, she's a bounty hunter. Look, another cool person in armor stealing things, an enigma to be fought, and they play that Star Wars trope based on how cool her armor is and how cool her voice is, and flip it into no, she's a freedom fighter, and then her armor makes even more sense because it's got that great sort of Star Wars, the mechanical and the rigid with the organic, in that there's so much organic in her armor that it supports the revelation that she's a freedom fighter.
I'm getting choked up. No, I can't. Sorry.
Sounds like Vader's choking you because we put him in the Hall of Fame.
Oh no!
All right, I'm here. I had pushed myself off this choice, Joseph, because I was like, man, it seems to be more of the mask. She even says when my mother wore the mask. But you provided backup information. You provided evidence that wins me over here on the fly of the Beskar armor. She's got that's sold, done, and it is. Right, correct. It is. There's something organic to it. It is classic armor. It is one of the best designs. I keep looking off screen because I'm staring up at her and her swoop bike I have up there in Black Series form, and it's long been just a show. As a show, it's been one of our favorite characters. But yeah, that is a great take on armor, a new and classic combination in that film. Thematically, it's so strong. We love it. We love it here. So I ain't fighting it, Jen.
Okay,
doesn't sound like you're fighting it.
No, this is a great choice. And on Wikipedia, it calls it armor.
Good.
Yeah. So yeah, done. And I forgot that I had the visual dictionary from Solo. Just this it's such a great point. The organic with the mechanical. It just was such a striking design that it did feel so new. I love Solo so much. I love this character. I want to see Erin Kellyman back as this character. Please, for the love of God, for redemption of Willow, what they did to Willow, bring her back. Because this is just fantastic. What a design. I want to know more.
Yeah. I'm sorry I said Rogue One. I'm so used to cool designs coming from Rogue One. But yes, of course, Solo.
Okay. Yeah. I thought with Rogue One, you were talking about the partisan that's wearing the blacked out trooper helmet. Which I might have accepted.
Yeah.
Love it. Anyways, Enfys, yes.
Great choice.
Yes, and I wish there more Enfys storytelling, please. I bang my table lightly.
It's at times maddening that we don't get more of the character, but and there's a lot of characters actually. Oh no, I just thought made me think of another choice. Crap.
Yeah. Oh, this is awful.
This is awful. What do we do this to ourselves? Jen, number 3 for you. Where you go?
All right. Okay, now, boy, do I do it?
Sure.
Do I do it?
Because I'm wondering if I do that. Okay, go for it.
Okay, I'm going to do it. It's got to be here. It has to be here. We've danced around it enough. gentlemen. Number 3, my pick is the classic OG Stormtrooper.
Wow.
It has to be here. There is nothing. This is what sets it all. This is the pattern for the rest of it. When I see this, and granted, it's because I'm an old lady and I have nostalgia tied with this armor, right? I have my childhood is connected to this armor. But what a freaking cool design this is. Is it practical? Absolutely not. We've seen them try to run. It even said it on Wikipedia that their plates made running slightly harder. This is true. But I love that it references that the Stormtrooper design has the imagery of moving skeletons. There is something not human about this that makes them so scary. But the fact that they could also be kind of funny in moments, obviously in the films, sometimes unintentionally hitting their head, right? It's what makes this armor so iconic.
Yes.
I love it so much whenever I see them, wherever I go. The 501st are just a sight to see. The detail and care that they put into their armors and their costumes is screen accurate. It's why they are in, the Mandalorian and various things, So it's just, it's got to be number 3. I can't put it as number 1 because it's not my choice, but...
But it maybe should have been. Yes.
No, I don't think it should have been number 1 necessarily, but it's got to be here.
Oh, gosh, yes.
I like this choice a lot. It was on my list, but so you two need to help me here.
Uh-oh.
I was being a little cute, and I was considering, I think the moment passed, but I was considering putting specifically Return of the Jedi Stormtroopers.
Oh, boy.
Ooh.
Okay.
The reason is, and this is why I need the correction, because I'll probably get a chat. I have grown up, much like we all talk about. We all were pretty sure that a X-wing hit the shield in Return of the Jedi when they tried to turn around, and it didn't happen. And some people say, well, it might have happened in the books and everything. But I swore as a kid. Me and my friend Joel were like, "Yeah, remember that X-wing hits the shield?" It didn't happen. I've grown up thinking that Return of the Jedi Stormtroopers have just a little bit more black in them. It's more visible. And I'm scanning right now to try to see the difference, and it's like, maybe. But I grew up thinking that, so that was going to be my choice. But overall,
that was going to be your choice.
No, well, I was considering it. That was Return of the Jedi Stormtroopers, but I don't know if that's. I might be dreaming it. But I think, Jen, I think this is a good spot, number 3, because this is much like Clone Troopers Phase 1. It's the beginning. It's the thing that started it. It's the thing that inspired so much. You're walking skeletons. Absolutely. Love that description of them. And they're so classic. They're so part of our pop culture that you sometimes overlook them. You forget how great they are, right? Like it's a band's first album. We've heard it on the radio 50 million times. And you forget, Joseph, how great Toto is. I'm kidding. Maybe. I don't know. That's what I love about it. So Jen, I think it's a great choice.
No, absolutely. I think when I think of Stormtroopers, I picture like those first images in A New Hope. It's not just Vader; it's how cool that armor is. It is scary. There's such a lack of humanity to it. The closest thing is, a death mask, a skull face, and that weird Star Wars tension that I've had since I was 3 years old. Of like, they're scary. I want them everywhere. One of my most treasured action figures. I have a really foggy memory of when we lived in Oregon of looking at houses, and because we moved around a lot, and my mom wanted to know if I thought this house would work, and I put out my Stormtrooper action figure on like a windowsill to see if like this house would work, because did my Stormtrooper look cool in this house? Like that relationship is deep. Much like the Vader in the Den too, of like, I got a million Stormtrooper action figures, but this one's slightly different, even better, even closer to that image. Look at there's promotional images from Empire Strikes Back, and even shot in Empire Strikes Back, where you got Vader, Boba Fett, and the Stormtroopers all in one shot. Yeah, and that's just armor heaven, right? That's the whole game, and everything is iterations from there. So I think Stormtroopers are a great choice.
Yeah, I love it, Jen. You've done well again.
Okay. I'm done.
You're done. The pressure's over. But now we're up
Yeah.
to my number 2, and now there is pressure. Because I think everyone might know where I'm going. If you've listened to the show for 11 years now, or even a year, you might know something I mention a lot. But in the course of our conversation, some names come up. This is why we don't do honorable mentions, but maybe we'll talk about things that we wanted to, or close calls, or we just won't make it an entire episode. But so therefore, I can't. I've got to live up to my own expectations. And I talked about Stormtroopers being the first through, and literally the first through the gate on the 10 of E4, and you see them and they're the starting point, and they're a great starting point. But I love some variations. And I love going to the snow. I love going to the sand. But man, do I love going to the desert, or to the moon of Endor, and the Force moon of Endor's floor, and looking at them biker scouts. It's funny you talk about Enfys Nest, because up to my right I have 3 figures. I have Gandalf, who doesn't count, Enfys Nest, and the Biker Scout, the Scout Troopers, as they would kind of later become known, and we can get to specific classifications if you want. But for me, grew up with the Biker Scout. There was something about the variation that I was drawn to, that mask, the difference of it, the speeder bikes, the entire sequence, even the little blaster, even the little holdout blaster that he tries to get Leia with, everything about it, or does point to Leia's head. I've loved the design. Yes, there's other variations that were already there and present, but this one shows up, and little Kenny runs to his backyard, jumps on that palm tree that grew out at a weird side angle in his backyard, and immediately started pretending to be a speeder bike pilot, a biker scout. Occasionally, I would be the good guys, but most part it was just me, which is weird because I would also act out running into a tree, and I'd fall off the bike, and just love them. Just love them. I just love the design. It's when we talk about the bad guys and the cool toys, or just the figures, or just celebrating the coolness of Star Wars. This one always comes to mind. I can't move off of it. I knew you probably had this on my list. You were like, I don't need to talk about this one. Ken's got it. I got it.
Yeah, man, we do just need to do a trooper list. But yeah, the Biker Scouts, I think, are an important evolution. I love the Snowtroopers. I probably like them aesthetically even better, and they are the first variation, but they get forgotten. They're kind of like Luke's Bespin look. They get forgotten because they're in the middle. They aren't. But the Biker Scout is such. Not only does a Biker Scout look super, super cool, but they're such an important step in armor design evolution of like. Lots of different angles, that the sort of like visor, and that it doesn't quite have that same flow that the Snowtroopers are like, because they have this weird flow. Yeah. But the Biker Scouts with the little survival pouches, and showing so much more black to really emphasize. And they got that, they're lean, they got that look forward, they got that, it's not a jetpack, but they got that little bump on the back. Like, there's so much interesting stuff going on. And the Snowtroopers were an evolution of like, okay, what's Stormtroopers, but they're kitted out for the snow. Like a Biker Scout could have easily been something weird. Because like, what armor do you need specifically for riding a bike? There's a little bit of like motorcycle helmet vibe to it, but
yeah, totally.
It's so out of left field, and it works, and it's great.
Yeah, absolutely love that. You could have easily called them like forest troopers, if you wanted to. So I actually, I'm with you on the design, the variation, and the coolness, and what it brings. I love snowtroopers. Sand troopers are just world weary to me, but.
Yeah.
They keep going back and forth of whether they're sand troopers or it's just a pauldron. Like
yes. So there you go. That's my choice right there for number 2. I hope it doesn't cause too many problems. But Joseph, you're taking us home with the number 1 choice for our favorite armor.
This one was rough. This one was really rough. I have several runner-ups, but we don't need to get into that. We've been good. Putting Vader in the Hall of Fame takes away a number 1. The classic OG Stormtrooper takes away a number 1. Part of me feels like the number 1 should be Boba Fett. But Boba Fett was our number 1 bounty hunter, right?
Yeah.
Ken?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do that.
Okay.
I don't know if I can do that.
I could, but how about this? How about we right now induct Boba Fett into the Hall of Fame? Sports puts them all in the same anyways. So let's do it.
Put him in there.
He's in
Put him
there.
in there
Okay.
because he
All
should
right.
be acknowledged. It is when people go on about Star Wars in the lived-in universe, I feel like they're talking about the Falcon and Boba Fett's armor. Like
Yes.
the fact
Mhm.
that he is the greatest ever, but it's all banged up, and he picked some great colors. Boba Fett could have been an artist like Sabine. Those colors are fantastic,
Right.
and it's all chipped. It's so good across the board. And the evolution with the Tuscan robes and the black, almost even cooler. And the realization that he keeps fresh paint on his ship
Still
for
one of my
sprucing up his
favorite
armor.
things. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
That
so
one.
good, so good. All
Okay.
right,
So
so he's in the
Boba
Hall of
Fett's
Fame.
boom in the Hall of Fame.
So now I'm left with, I have several choices I would have liked to include, but they do not rise to the level of number one. So in order to earn number one, I'm going to go emotional. I'm going to go not with a category, but with a character. So my number one armor in Star Wars is going to be Season 2 Tech from the Bad Batch.
Oh, that's great.
Oh.
So we didn't include it. We could go nuts with all of the clone troopers who personalize their armor. Rex would be up there, right? Because that's a part of it. Of like the the stormtroopers are the faceless, nameless. You're just a number. You're not a person. The clone troopers defy that, and they defy that by marking their own bodies with tattoos. They're having different hairstyles. They defy that with their armor, marking their armor and making it different. And then we got the Bad Batch, which is this whole own thing where they're all a little bit of got slightly different, unique armor that is designed to their specific skill sets. And I'm sure they're modifying it to make it even better. But then by the time we get to Season 2, their armor is a part of their identity. They want to be soldiers. That's who they are. They don't want to not be soldiers, but they want to figure out a different way to be soldiers. And so all of their armor evolves as they play with it even more. In Season 2, Tech's got the sort of darker bluish sort of pants that aren't part of the armor, but he's got the big orange stripes on the armor, really, really prominent. So it's just like Tech. It is practical. It's not outrageous, but there's that flair of personality. And then you get to the helmet, which is where the armor really comes to life. It's got a cool, great look. It's evolving of the Stormtrooper. It's not the sort of downward menacing energy of Phase 1 clone troopers. It's a little bit more of that just pop it on, pop it off, much more in the Stormtrooper variety. But the big eyes, obviously, when he doesn't have the helmet on, he literally has the goggles, which gets him his namesake. But he's got the big eyes and then the visor to look at details even closer. And that's who Tech is, to look at all the details even closer, to analyze. Oh, Tech would be so much help on this. He would be looking up on Wikipedia what is and is not armor, and he would have technical reasons of why it is correct. But I love the character of Tech. I love that a character can be almost entirely covered in armor with the helmet on and is still just breathing personality and being unique. So I'm going to give it to Season 2 Tech.
It's a great choice. I got to be honest. And this morning, jogging my memory, just like, what do I overlooked Bad Batch. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that. And I was so sure that I was starting to type out Jedi General Clone Armor Kenobi. Like I thought that's got to be where Joseph's going. Got to be.
It was a temptation. It was a temptation, and he was on the list. But
Tech, and I know what Tech means to you, what he means to so many people, and that is a wonderful choice. I love that decision. I have no notes at all. No add-ons. I can't say anything more. I love the Bad Batch. I love all their armor. I love all the different designs and the thematic uses and changes and all that stuff. But Tech is even unique for them in their group. It's unique.
Yeah, that's a great choice. I'm glad that we have something, number one, that's new, something that represents this new era, as I keep saying. Because it really is a beautiful blend of all the things that we love about these characters and these armors and helmets and whatnot. And you just look at that, and it's just, you get his personality, and there's just like I don't want to say a warmth, but just like, I don't know, just feels good. It feels good when I see that armor.
Yeah, so good, so good.
I agree.
I know we're not doing a bunch of runner-ups, but I do just have to shout out the Shore Trooper. That was the other one from Rogue One. That's like, come on, come on, for new designs. So good.
Yeah, I love to run through a couple that it was emotionally just emotionally hard to let them go. Praetorian Guards. I was going to put them down, Jen, but I think you got the better answer there overall. But the Praetorian Guards and the pairs, the 2 and 2, and just the way they looked, and the fact that Ryan Johnson was like, yeah, I grew up thinking the Royal Guards were really cool too, so I wanted to do that as well. Like, I would have done that too if I would been given a Star Wars movie. A couple other ones. It counts, but it also seems like a cheat. But General Grievous. I mean, it's a warning for Vader. It's all that stuff, but just the armor, the little organ sacs that the armor's protect. It's so cute. No, that, and then I thought on the fly, Jen, when you got to, or Joseph, you got to Enfys Nest, and Jen, you said something that triggered my brain. Iden Versio. Love Iden Versio. Still want her and Janina Gavankar in live action. It'd be great. And then my final pitch, I was going to maybe get too cute, put it earlier. I was going to say Dengar. And I know it comes from other things, his armor, but like, and there's the Clone Wars, the cleaner version and the more ornate version. But Empire Strikes Back Dengar, because it kept that guy alive. He put that armor on, and somehow that guy got through it all. So I was going to give credit for the armor, but those are some thoughts. Jen, some of yours, and Joseph, more yours.
The only one I was really wrestling with was Sabine Wren. But since I put the Mando on there, I was like we could have a whole Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, people are going to be really upset. Sabine's not on there. Sorry, it's our list. Make your own. I'm sorry.
I know, and I love that. Like, she customized it, right?
Yeah, that's a great choice. That's a great choice.
But the thing that led me to the Mandalorian was that, like, it's just more recognizable. And if we're looking at like top 10, for me personally, I wanted to go with what was more like recognizable to the average person.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
it's a great choice.
Yeah,
Joseph.
Yeah.
Anymore?
I think for me it was just a couple more. Yeah, Sabine was on the list. The Shore Trooper. The Stormtrooper, but also what has come to be known as the Mimban Stormtrooper. There was confusion about, is it a mud trooper? No, a mud trooper is a different thing. And now if you look it up on Wikipedia, it's wet weather gear Stormtrooper. But it's a dirty Stormtrooper with a bigger head and a kind of a dirty cape.
Yeah.
It's
a great figure.
Real cool looking. Great figure. Real cool looking. I also had Praetorian Guard because one of the things I like about him is you get to see the armor in use and see it get chewed through by lightsabers. I wanted to put a Knight of Ren. I wanted to give some Rise of Skywalker love because I think there is some great design in that, and the Knights of Ren have some great designs, and they're all different. And also, my final one, just to get the full set of Royal Guards, the Sovereign Protectors, a.k.a. Sith Royal Guard. We don't get to see them much, but they're the ones that Rey takes out and Ben Solo helps her finish off. They've got a really cool look, and they are also like, come on, make the action figure. Lie and say it's from Legends. People will buy it. Don't worry. Afraid of the movie.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Yes.
But it's that crimson blood red armor, like the Sith troopers, who could also go on the list.
I like the Sith troopers.
Yeah.
Minimal, nasty helmet, and then this like big cape. Oh man, they're really cool looking.
Well, maybe we will spin off to other conversations and other lists, but that's forget. Well, there you go. I think all great choices, all wonderful. We worked through it. This is what I love about this ranked. We have to work through it emotionally. There's no easy answers. And like I joke, but hey, look, you might out there have your own list. Make them. Post them here. If you're watching on YouTube, post your list. Don't say, hey, why didn't you have? Add it to yours and share your list. We want to hear. This is what we did here today. We appreciate all that there. You can find us as a show on social media at ForceCenter Pod. Facebook page is ForceCenter Podcast. Instagram, YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Do all those things there. Podcasts available in a lot of spots. Just search, you'll find us. And merch available at tpublic.com/user/ForceCenter. Get your own armor, or you can go to our Fourth Wall shop. Link down below. Patreon.com/ForceCenter is where you can support us. Hope to see you all. Probably if you're watching the day of the release, hope you see you tonight at Flappers Comedy Club. But information's on my website at kidnapsock.com and all future shows there as well. Jen, where can they find you? And thank you for mentioning Sabine, even though, Joseph, I know you had her on your list as well.
Well, people are going to probably not be happy with my Royal Guards. So, share your notes with me at Jennifer Landa on YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok at Jennifer Landa 1138.
No, great stuff. The Royal Guards. I will back the Royal Guard play there, Joseph.
Oh, yeah. Come on. And there's nothing to say that their little cloth action figures is not full of some sort of armor weave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Something there.
There you go.
No, great stuff. Great pick. I'm really loving doing this version of Ranked. You can find me on all the social media, Joseph Scrimshaw, and check out my website, josephscrimshaw.com, for info on all the stuff I'm up to, including all sorts of film stuff, and can't wait to do the show tonight. As you're watching.
We'll share a plate of cookies. All right, that is it. We'll see you all next time. Star Wars has been ranked.